Alder Row Park was the kind of place people stopped noticing after a while. Not because it was peaceful, but because it felt forgotten. Callum Price passed through it every night after work, always around the same time, always cutting through the same narrow path between streetlights that buzzed faintly like they were struggling to stay alive. At first, he never paid attention to the bench. It was just part of the scenery, old wood, slightly tilted, sitting beneath a flickering lamp that made everything beneath it look uncertain. But after a few nights, something started to register in the back of his mind. No matter what time he passed, no matter how empty the park seemed, that bench was never empty at midnight. There was always someone sitting there. Always. Same position. Same posture. Upright, hands resting on their knees, heads slightly lowered, like they were waiting for instructions that never came. No movement. No sound. No acknowledgement of anything around them. Callum told himself it was just a night regular. Someone who liked silence the same way he did. But deep down, something about it felt off. Not threatening at first. Just wrong in a way he couldn't explain. Like the bench didn't belong to the park. Like it belonged to that figure. It started to bother him more than it should have, enough that one night he slowed his walk just to look properly. He told himself it was curiosity, nothing more. He arrived earlier than usual, staying far enough back that he could see the bench clearly without being seen. The park was empty. Completely still. No wind, no movement, no distant traffic. Just the hum of the streetlight above. He checked his phone. 11:58, then 11:59. The bench was empty the entire time. Nothing there. No one approaching. No footsteps. No change in the air. Then the minute turned. Midnight. And in that exact moment, without any transition that the mind could track, the figure was there again. Sitting in the same position as every other night. Callum felt his stomach tighten. He hadn't blinked. He hadn't looked away. There was no gap for someone to move across the park. No space for anything to happen. It wasn't like someone arrived. It was like the world simply updated, and the bench had always been occupied. The figure didn't react to anything. Didn't look up. Didn't acknowledge existence at all. It just existed in that position, like it had been paused there between seconds. He shouldn't have gone closer, but he did. Something about it pulled him forward, not physically, but mentally, like his thoughts were narrowing until there was nothing else to focus on. Each step across the gravel felt too loud, too defined in the silence of the park. The figure didn't react. Didn't shift. Didn't even suggest awareness. Up close, it was worse. The coat it wore looked wrong, too stiff, like it wasn't draped over a body but shaped around one. The posture wasn't relaxed or natural. It was exact. Controlled. As if it had been positioned rather than chosen. Callum stopped a few feet away. "Hey," he said, voice lower than he intended. No response. Not even the smallest sign of recognition. He stepped slightly to the side, trying to see the face properly. But the shadows under the lamp didn't behave normally. They clung to the head in a way that hid everything important, like the light was refusing to expose it. Then the head moved. Not smoothly. Not humanly. Just a sudden, sharp adjustment, too fast to feel natural, too precise to be accidental. It didn't turn toward him. It corrected itself toward him. Like it had always known where he was standing. After that night, Callum tried to ignore it. He told himself it was nothing. A trick of the light. Exhaustion. Overthinking. But the problem with patterns is that once you notice them, they don't stop existing. They just keep repeating until you either accept them or break. So he started watching it properly. Timing it. Recording it. Testing it. Every single night followed the same structure. Empty bench. Approach midnight. Then occupation. Always the same posture. Always the same stillness. But the recordings didn't behave properly. Sometimes the figure appeared before midnight on camera but not in real life. Sometimes it was already there when the footage started, even though he knew it hadn't been there seconds before. Once, the video showed the head turning toward him slowly, as if it had been aware of being watched the entire time, even though Callum remembered clearly that it hadn't moved at all. The more he studied it, the worse it became. Because it wasn't just repeating. It was adjusting. Learning. And somewhere inside that repetition, it had started acknowledging him. He couldn't stay away anymore. That was the worst part. Fear should have been enough, but instead it turned into fixation. So one night, he sat opposite the bench, closer than ever before, forcing himself to stay still and watch it properly. Midnight approached like it always did. The park held its breath. Then the figure appeared again. But this time something was wrong immediately. It wasn't facing forward. It was already angled toward him, as if it had been waiting for him specifically. Slowly, deliberately, the head began to lift. Not in response to sound or movement, but with intent. Shadows shifted just enough for the face to begin forming under the light. And Callum felt something inside him drop, cold and immediate. The structure of the face wasn't just familiar, it was identical in all the ways that mattered. His jaw. His nose. His expression. His eyes. His own face, staring back from the bench, but wrong in a way that couldn't be ignored. The eyes didn't hold recognition. They didn't hold anything. Just emptiness, like something had copied the shape of a person but not understood what a person was supposed to be. After that, everything began to slip. Not dramatically. Not all at once. Just small inconsistencies that slowly started stacking until reality didn't feel stable anymore. Reflections lagged behind him by a fraction of a second. Shadows moved slightly out of sync. His name sounded wrong when strangers said it, like they were remembering someone else entirely. Nights became harder to trust. Even silence started to feel structured, like it was holding something in place. Then came the walking. He would find himself outside without remembering leaving. Standing in places he didn't choose to go. Always facing in the same direction. Always toward the park. The resistance didn't feel physical. It felt like agreement. Like something inside him had already decided the outcome and was just waiting for his body to catch up. And every time he tried to stop it, the thought of the bench became louder than anything else. He reached the park without meaning to. That was the clearest thought he had. No decision, no intention, just arrival. The bench was empty. For the first time, truly empty. No figure. No stillness pretending to be something else. Just wood under a broken lamp. Relief hit him so fast it almost felt like waking up. Almost. Then his body moved. He didn't decide to sit. He didn't feel himself sit. He was just suddenly there, on the bench, hands resting on his knees, posture locking into place with unnatural precision. He tried to move, but movement didn't respond anymore. Across the path, someone stood now. Watching him. Confused. Slowly realizing something wasn't right. And in that moment, Callum understood what the bench actually was. It wasn't occupied at midnight. It was waiting to be occupied. The park didn't keep something there. It rotated it. Midnight passed. The streetlight flickered once. And the bench remained exactly as it always was. Occupied.